All right, we're gonna start back on the Red Dead Redemption 2 build. Now, if you haven't seen the other two parts of this video, go and watch it. The first one we showed how we did the burning techniques on the box. Second part we showed how I did all of the burning again and the breaking of the wood to make it look like it exploded or caught fire at some point. And the video ended with us having a second DOA motherboard. We've got a third one right here. Please let this one work. Today's video is sponsored by the Corsair One Pro i200 compact workstation PC. Powered by the Intel Core i9-10940X 14-core CPU and NVIDIA 2080 Ti video card, the i200 is the best of both worlds when it comes to water-cooled, small form factor PCs for both work and play. To learn more about this tiny but powerful professional-grade PC, follow the link in the description below. So I want to address a couple of the comments on that previous video regarding where we left off with this impact board and the code 02 that we were getting. I've been in communication with ASUS, obviously, over this. And they were just like, wow, 02 says is a microcode problem. But we know the CPU works. And then we put the 3600X in here, which we also know works. So what we're gonna do right now is we are going to just test this board outside of the case on the box to see if we can get it to boot. A lot of people were like, it could be a bad power supply. We've already used this power supply in other videos. The previous board that we had, the bad one with where it was like just power cycling and stuff, that was also with known good hardware. They were like, look, we tried like 4 different CPUs on it. We've stress tested it. It's booted. It works. We know it works. If it's not working on your end, we don't know, because this is a really strange problem. So let me just go ahead and get this kind of rigged up here. Okay. I was like, why'd those fans go so fast suddenly on the GPU? There's a second boot. That's a good sign. Because remember, it'll do multiple boots when it first posts, or does its first boot. D6, D7, O2. It paused on O2. All right, so I'm gonna try some Flare X memory that I know for a fact works. It also says AMD right on it. Memory. It passes the memory codes.
Yeah.
We never suspected memory because if you look at the order, which once it goes past like D6 or goes past like C2 and all that and goes into the Ds, D6, D7, that's GPU at that point. It's past memory. Memory is the first thing it goes through.
Unless you just happen to pick one bad RAM stick, because you've been booting them with both RAM slots and you haven't tested one RAM stick to see if it's bad.
That'd be weird because it worked when we just took it off, right? All right, 1 RAM stick.
Oh yeah.
1 stick. But what if I put this 1 stick in and it works? It doesn't mean we know it's bad.
What the
That doesn't make any sense to my brain. O2.
G-Skill?
Yeah, let's try it. The more this channel progresses through time, the weirder shit gets. Like the video that we did recently where I was like, it wouldn't boot unless we overclocked it. As long as this works with the 3950X, I don't care. That's weird that we would get an O2 on both of these, right?
Yeah.
D7 is gonna go O2 and it's frozen. Okay, so we're not crazy, we're just a little crazy. D7, O2. And we're frozen on O2 again. Nope, there it goes.
Does it still say O2?
It still says O2.
Oh, so maybe it's been booting this whole time and that graphics card is just not outputting.
All right, we'll switch to graphics card. I still have the 1 stick of G-Skill in here. We switched the graphics card over. O2.
So is the GPU this whole time?
We gotta know now if this is bad because we gotta pull it and never use it again. Okay, we're past memory, 9C, A2, D6. Okay, we're in GPU now. D7, O2. Hey, it works in an Intel machine. So Phil took it upon himself to test this in the test rig. I had a visitor that that noisy door boys complained about. We're looking at getting it replaced with an insulated, windproof, whatever, door enthusiasts out there will know what I'm talking about. So when I was talking to the guy, I heard a beep, 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 and I looked over, I'm like, Phil's doing Phil stuff, whatever, I don't care. And then suddenly he goes, hey Jay, look. And the 1080 Ti works in an Intel rig just fine. And it works in the same DisplayPort we were using. And even if I switch the DisplayPort, there it is, it works. But what Phil did initially get was like a really weird BIOS beeps on this. Although this is the board that was doing the weird BIOS beeps for us anyway, so that could be unrelated. Remember, this is the one that was like beep, 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 I don't know what it, oh, okay, it worked now. Okay, good graphics card, just doesn't work with this motherboard. Now we can continue with the build. Phil, good work. 1080 Ti, where'd you go? You dumb. Okay. Let's build some grills.
Wow, good go.
Never done this before. And by that I mean put on this mask. So this has to go. It's not gonna work. The cutting disc is too thick. See? The way just be like near, 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 near. Yeah, I'd like to point out I made it all the way through there with hardly losing any of the wheel, because I was finally cutting the right way and doing it slowly and not just like trying to force it through. So I just kind of let the weight do its thing. Ah! You can see what I kind of did here is I made these holes too big, if you want to know the truth, because realistically this should have been as wide as the opening. So the way I've made it, it covers the opening. But what I'm gonna have to end up doing, I think, is mounting the radiator and fans to this. This will be mounted to the thick pieces of wood, so like there and there on the inside. What I'll probably end up doing is getting some like metal strap material that just kind of goes and cradles the bottom of the rad. You know how like back in the old days they built those chests and they're all like metal straps and stuff around them? It'd be kind of like that, I guess. So now we have to cut this direction because both of these are too long. And I need to cut them so that they fit within there. Because if I cut it at the right length, I could wedge it too in between the wood pieces. Yeah. Dude, it's gonna look pretty dope.
That looks sick.
Especially when it's all painted and rusty. All right. Time to get the computer out of here, because I still have to make modifications to this. I'm probably gonna cut some of the opening here for the GPU to breathe better. I might just cut that whole tray off. I don't know, do something in the front. This just looks dumb sitting there like that. I love these projects, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. Is this glued? Yeah, those staples are, I went crazy with the staples. or the things that, the nails, the thingies. It's not coming apart. It's a lot easier to clearance wood than it is to clearance metal. So I got this to fit here because I had to trim it a little bit because that's why it was blowing down so bad. But it's gonna have sag in the middle. So Phil had an idea of making 2 horizontal straps out of this. So I'm gonna cut 2 more strips of this, which will fit across here, that we can like put one like me, sorry, maybe like here, and then one like maybe there, because I can't just do one across the middle because then the radiator won't fit flush, or the fans or whatever's going up there first. All right, so I made myself 4 straps. I'm probably gonna have to trim these down a little bit, but I can actually just tin snip that. I've got my 360mm radiator in here because what I wanna do is I wanna take the 4 and line them up like roughly where the radiator mounts would go. That way it sort of makes sense as to where we're supporting it. Like, I guess the best way to put this is I'm looking at like, I'm building this like they would have in the 1800s had they had computers then.
And angle grinders.
Oh yeah, I'd be using a hand crank drill, huh? What, they didn't have Dremels in the 1800s? What's wrong with you? God, you learned your history. Okay, I'm gonna stand it up. Are you ready? Doesn't look bad, huh? It's really starting to come together. I really wish I brought my stain from home. I would stain all this right now to get the color. I might even just run home and do that. But I want to get to painting the metal now. I can't wait to see this now. So it's going to be like a mixture of Wild West and steampunk with all the copper. So I think copper and brass. All right, so now that the metal bits are all in there, I got to take them back out so we can paint and weather them. Now I know There's gonna be a lot of people that are like, oh my God, Jay, why are there so many parts to this video? It dawned on me. I like taking you guys along for the ride. I like showing you guys the process. And I showed Phil that I've been watching this old man build this model boat, and he's only about halfway done. He's been working on it for a year and a half, and he's got like 457 parts so far to that build process. Y'all can live with 4 or 5. So I potentially made a really big mistake here. I didn't clean the metal first, which I should have because there's probably machining oils all over it. And so what's happening right now is the paint isn't really drying, it's staying sticky. And you can see, watch this, if I wipe it with the paper towel, it starts coming off on here. But I'm gonna try and use this in my favor. I'm gonna just douse it with alcohol because it's an alcohol-based paint, which means I should be able to start to get it to start coming off in areas, which will allow me to start to make it look really aged. Remember, there's all sorts of stuff I can do to make this look oldish, if you will. So you can see the scratches are much more randomized now. So let me spray a dull coat on this, and then we can start beating up the other ones. So I put a coat of clear over this, matte clear, to just sort of seal it in. And I think, which side do I want facing out? I think I want this side facing out.
More beat up side.
Yeah, but there's some here that still looks way too good. There we go. But this isn't the end of the effects. Once it's all like done at the end, I'll be doing like texture effects to get like that rusted metal like I showed you earlier. I'll be like taking a sponge and my pigments and stuff that I use in my models, and I'll be adding it to a bunch of this so it'll look built up, grimy, nasty, but that's not gonna happen today. That'll happen towards the end of the build. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these pieces put back in here so we can see how they're gonna look, and that's where we'll end it for today. I wish, like I said, I had my stains here, but Phil and I talked about it. If we are gonna be going to, or me or whoever, Phil will probably stay behind, I don't know. If we're gonna make a run to a store, we're gonna get everything we need in one run. Because we have a habit of going 62 times in projects.
Dude, when we did the networking, it was probably like 6 times.
Yeah.
Like no joke, 6 times in that same day, so.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Not anymore, we aren't.
Yeah, I kind of can't wait to get this done. It looks like it's off center to the left a little bit. I think I put it back on upside down. That's okay though, it has to come back off anyway because when we stain the inside, obviously I'm gonna have to paint the hardware to get more L brackets. I better start making a list, huh? I need to get more L brackets. And I think that's where we are going to sign off today. But let me do this. I wanna go ahead and just sort of screw this back together. It looks so weird with the insides being all like perfect. That's fine.
More weathering.
It fell in my hand, I caught it. Look at that. It's always hard to tell if the theme you're working on is like actually coming together and working. I think it is. I haven't even stained this yet. It looks like a box that caught fire, doesn't it? It exploded a little bit. I love the way the back looks too. Yeah, so good. All right, guys, that's it for part 3 on this. Our hardware is working. We got the metal bits done, which is what I needed to get done before I could mount radiators and start doing the inside. So next, we've got to do the stain work to get all the wood stained. We need to age the metal some more. We've got to make some modifications to the H210i chassis just so it kind of fits the build. And then get copper tubing and brass fittings and all that sort of stuff just so that we can, I kind of would love to have a little pressure gauge. Like even if it doesn't work or not, just old timey like little, with the pressure, yeah, little, and the, when it's too much, wait, that was low for your perspective. All right guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. What's up, bro? Bro, that's sick tribal, bro. There's so many holes in my fingers. Even a girlfriend we programmed to love us would leave us.